Hi there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the incredibly impactful, accessible, and structured career path of becoming a community journalist. If you've ever felt this calling to, amplify the voices in your local area that usually go completely unheard, well, you're in exactly the right place. We are laying out the complete blueprint to make that a reality. Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering what this job actually entails, hearing an inspiring voice from the field, looking at the personality traits you'll need, mapping out your educational pathway, figuring out how to fund it, and finally, getting real about the career growth and income. Let's just dive right in. All right, Section 1. Let's start with the absolute foundation by defining exactly what it means to be a community journalist. So, a community journalist is someone who gathers stories directly at the ground level. We're talking about actually being out there, capturing videos, taking pictures, and recording personal narratives. The absolute crucial point here is that you are the vital link. You're gathering these stories at the grassroots level to make sure important local narratives actually make it to the main newsroom. You are literally the eyes and ears of a much larger editorial team, making sure the subjects that matter to your specific community are finally brought into the mainstream spotlight. Moving on to Section 2. To truly understand the why behind this career, we need to look at a real-world example. To really see the on-the-ground impact of this career, let's talk about the story of Basanti Soren. She's from the Ramgarh district in Jharkhand. Her village, Lopantwardi, is severely impacted by the nearby East Parej coal mine. She lives in a region that holds this massive, important position on the mineral map of the country, right? But that exact industry creates fundamental, everyday problems for the locals who are living just a kilometer away. Seeing her community's landscape absolutely ravaged and scarred for years by mining, well, she didn't just accept it. She transformed into a video activist and a community correspondent to raise her voice and highlight these local issues. By associating with the Jungle Bachao Andolan, which is a movement to conserve the remaining forests, she found a really powerful platform. Community journalism gave her the practical tools to work on issues that were incredibly close to her heart, and frankly, to force the outside world to pay attention. Okay, Section 3. If Basanti's story sparks something in you, let's see if you have the inherent personality traits needed for this kind of groundwork. Because look, journalism isn't just about passion. It requires a very specific working style. To succeed, you really need to be detail-oriented, because credibility is literally everything in the news. You also must be a natural communicator, comfortable speaking with people from all walks of life, often during super challenging situations. Interestingly, you also need to be comfortable following clear instructions, because newsrooms have strict editorial guidelines and tight deadlines. And finally, you've got to be a great team player. You might be the one gathering the news in your village, but it takes a whole editorial and broadcast team to get that news out to the masses. Let's move right into Section 4 and see how all of this builds into an actual educational pathway. The blueprint here is super clear and highly accessible. You start by simply completing your 10+2 in literally any stream. Arts, commerce, science, it all works. After that, you'd pursue a diploma or a bachelor's degree in journalism or mass communication. And finally, while it is optional, going on to complete a master's degree is a fantastic way to deepen your expertise and really accelerate your career growth later down the line. When you're deciding on that higher education piece, you essentially have two great choices. You can choose a streamlined fast track by taking a 1-year diploma, which gets you out into the field super quickly, or you can take a more comprehensive track involving a multi-year university bachelor's degree, like a BA or a Bachelor of Journalism and Mass Communication, which you could then follow up with a master's. So you can completely tailor your education to your own personal timeline. And the best part is, you have incredible options all across the country. You can study at top-tier institutes like Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi, the Maharaja Sayajurao University in Gujarat, the University of Kerala, Utkal University in Odisha, Savitribai Phule Pune University, or Osmania University in Telangana. Chances are there is a fantastic institution relatively close to where you are right now. All right, Section 5, let's demystify the financial side of things and talk about how to actually afford this training. When it comes to course fees, the costs vary a lot based on the exact path you choose. It ranges from a very accessible 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees for a basic 1-year diploma, all the way up to 3 lakhs for an extensive 2-year master's degree. Undergrad degrees usually run between 30,000 to 2 lakhs annually. Now keep in mind these are estimated figures and they will vary from institute to institute, but it definitely gives you a solid baseline to start planning. Now, if those numbers seem a bit intimidating, please don't worry. Fortunately, there are structured safety nets designed specifically to help you. This includes merit scholarships that you can access via the National Scholarship Portal, specialized state student credit cards in places like West Bengal, Odisha, and Bihar, and brilliant government-backed loan portals like Vidya Lakshmi, which help students secure low-interest education loans. Funding your education is absolutely an achievable goal. Finally, Section 6. So you've got the traits, the education, and the funding. What does the actual career reality look like once you graduate? Your expected growth path usually kicks off as a news intern. This is basically your proving ground, where you learn the fast-paced, hectic nature of a real newsroom. Once you've shown your capability there, you officially transition into a full-time, active community journalist. But let's be real, you need to be prepared for an active, dynamic lifestyle. You could be working across TV news channels, traditional print, or modern digital media platforms. The reality is working 8 to 9 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. And yes, shift duties and overtime are pretty common. The news simply doesn't sleep. Also, it is really wonderful to note that strong opportunities exist in this field for differently abled individuals. The news industry is increasingly valuing diverse voices and perspectives above all else. And the financial bottom line? You can expect an approximate starting salary ranging from 10,250 to 40,000 rupees per month. Of course, these figures are indicative. They're going to change based on your location and the specific media house you work for. But this represents a very realistic look at your entry-level earning potential as you start out. Well, we've explored the entire roadmap today, from the classroom right down to the field. The tools, the funding, and the educational pathways are all waiting for you. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to step up, follow in the footsteps of activists like Basanti, and become the vital voice your community needs?